Sup, bitches?
Yes, I'm all about that welcoming.
That was aggressive. Oh, well, welcome back to the Sassy Spiritual Bitches podcast.
We are recording this post
Full moon
eclipse, so we're feeling a little fucked up.
Feeling a little fucking goofy today. Yeah. And yeah, it's almost like a full moon hangover almost.
Yeah.
Right?
Except like I woke up this morning still feeling like I was like high. Like I was like, yeah, life's good. I woke up really early. I went for a walk, and I never do those things. Like I walk, but it's usually like 10 a.m.
Yeah, not that early.
Not that early. So I was feeling fierce, and then all of a sudden I hit a wall, and I'm like, damn it, the hangover has arrived.
Yeah, I felt great this morning too. It was the first time I woke up with actual like energy and pep and focus in months. And I was like, yes, finally. And you get all excited. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to get so much done today. And then I ended up having a session with somebody. It went great. My mind was working. I was like, yes, all these things. I didn't have to go and and like yawn and like, you know.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it was like this afternoon hit and it was going like, that was it.
Totally. Same. I was on fire. Like, granted, I was a little overly ambitious today. Should have known I wasn't going to make it through all the things, but like, fuck, did I hit a wall? Like, I can't even. And yeah, like, my intuition was fierce earlier too. And I was like, yeah, this is the shit. But no.
Do you find, okay, and I'm going to start tracking this for the next couple of months. Because this full moon, like, I mean, I did, a few readings yesterday. I did like a distance healing session and like it was lit. Like it was like crazy shit came through. It was like messages were on point, but at the same time, it was so much more draining than it ever usually is.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm like, okay, was this just this full moon because it was, you know, kind of a super blood moon with an eclipse, or is this just how it is on full moons and I'm extra drained, so maybe I have to be very careful about what I book around full moons? I don't know. I
have noticed, but I always get tired after the full moon, so I should track it better and then like not book as much. I don't know, I'm curious to see now if my intuition just like comes alive.
Like that's what I mean. The sessions were so good.
Mm-hmm.
And like the messages were pouring in, but at the same time, it's like, well, I didn't have super lots. Like I think I had 3 or 4, and it was like I couldn't do any more than that.
Yeah, man, I don't know what it is, but it's been almost like, I don't know, I've felt off since like February.
Yeah.
Like everything got really heavy and dingy and like
a trench.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can describe it. It's like you're in a fucking trench.
Yeah.
With mud.
Trying to climb your way out.
And it's dark and it's dingy and you're wet and you're gross and you're uncomfortable.
Yes.
But it's like at the same time, you're too fucking tired to try and actually climb out.
Yes. 100%. You're just rolling around down there now being like, I can't.
Yeah. I'm just laying in my own muck.
Yeah.
Oh, that was like that. Did you see that meme or whatever that I posted? And it was like this little pig. I posted it in my stories and it was like, growth makes you uncomfortable. And it's this little pig. It's like, I just want to lay here in my manure. So good. And I was like, yes, this is how I feel.
Oh, that's too good.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I know. I just can't do it. But I'm hoping that full moon eclipse was the reset that it feels like it was, because I don't know if I can take a summer filled with rolling around in manure, because it's I just can't fucking do it anymore. Like, man, it's been so heavy.
But it felt like a shift though. Like even now, the energy doesn't feel like,
no.
Even though I'm tired, I don't feel like I'm dragging my ass. I can't fucking function.
Right.
I just it's like, okay, well, I need a rest. That's all.
Yeah, actually, you know what? That's so true because I feel tired right now, but I'm still like excited to be here.
Oh, totally.
I was like excited to come here.
Me too.
I was just like, we're going to do this. And,
yeah,
I didn't feel like heavy while I was preparing my sessions. Like I do feel so much lighter. So
yeah, I'm going to take it as that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's big because I have been feeling the opposite for quite some time now.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
I am excited. So you have other exciting things happening right now.
Yes. I just launched a body and emotional healing program. So
dun, dun, dun! Woo, woo.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm also like nervous. I don't want to say, but I am because I've never done something in like a group type format before, but it's self-study. So it's like the people on the other end are doing it personally and then they get their one-on-one. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think it was like long overdue. Mm-hmm. Been getting nudged about this for a long time, but it's finally out there. So it's launching on June 14th of 2021.
That's only a couple weeks away.
Yeah. I only have 25 spots because you do still get the one-on-one, and it's all about releasing programming that you've carried over from past lives or past experiences that sit in your etheric body, sit in your physical body, sit in your emotional or mental body, that disjoint your body's ability to heal itself. So it's emotional and kind of a mental release. Like it's more than that, but it's mainly birthed out of my fascination with like the human body. So
sweet.
Yeah, it's been really cool. It's like not magic. We don't do magic here. Well, you do, but I don't do magic.
Sure you do.
Yeah. And it's like people sometimes want like a really easy fix. And that's why it turned into a program because there's like modules. There's things you have to understand about healing before it really takes hold. So anyway, moral of the story is check out my page. I still have some spaces available. So get in on that.
Totally. And it's how much?
It's $350. But you get 4 modules and a one-on-one.
Totally. I mean, Christ, the one-on-one is basically worth the price of that. So yeah, and you guys, if you're in the States, that's Canadian. So it's like cheaper for you. Yeah,
it's quite a bit cheaper for you. Yeah, sweet. So check it out because I'm going to, obviously this is like, we're going to see how it goes, but I probably won't be relaunching another one until like at least fall, like maybe farther away. And I have to like do a bunch of assessments. It could go up in price depending on how things go.
Yes.
So check it out.
Get in on the ground level.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's exciting stuff. I'm excited for it.
Yeah. And it's not the first time I've done the body sessions. I've done a lot of them. I'm just realizing that it needs to be a program, not a 1 hour appointment. You can't fix that kind of shit in a 1 hour appointment.
Yeah. I mean, it's because I had that done, the body one, and there's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
And a lot of like, you don't have time to really understand exactly the backgrounds and like,
exactly,
all that stuff. So it's going to be good, you guys. It's going to be so fucking fascinating.
Yeah. Check it out. I do have information on my website. If you're just curious or send me a message, I'd be happy to like fill you in where I can, give you more background.
Spots are she's already got people in it, guys. So spots are going to go fast. So check it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to get that out because it's super fucking cool. And I'm like uber excited about it because I'm a nerd. But what are we talking about today?
The theme of what's been coming up is like, you're not for everyone and you don't need to be for everyone.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Preach.
Yeah.
God, why am I singing today?
That full moon energy.
It's gotta be because I'm like, I even did that this is the first time I met with one of my coaching clients today, first session with me. I'm like, where did I put my stuff? And I'm like, oh my God, this poor woman. And if you're listening, you know who you are.
Oh, that's good. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know how this topic came up, but
I do. It was the other day.
Oh yeah, right. How did it start?
Okay, so I don't know how it started on your end, but on my end I was like, okay, I've been lacking on pulling cards for myself. Because I used to do it like twice a day religiously. And I was like, okay, I gotta get my shit back together here. And I felt it. I'm like, I need some guidance here. And I pulled a deck that I haven't pulled from in, I don't know, a long time. And I got this card, and it was like, you are not for everyone. And I was like, I can see that. And then, and then I took a picture of it and sent it to you.
Oh, yeah. And then I was like, oh, shit. I never pull cards for myself. I like totally neglect my own self-healing sometimes. So then anyways, I was like, I'm going to pull a card too because I have the same deck, I think. Same one? Or at least same artist.
Same artist anyway.
So I pull.
I think it is the same deck though.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm going to pull a card too. And mine is Don't Dim to Fit In. And I was like, that's ominous.
Well, not really. It's like, don't dim your light just to fit in and make other people comfortable.
I meant like our similar message.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that seems important.
Well, yeah, considering every other time you and I have pulled cards from the same deck, they're like opposite ends of the spectrum. They're never the same. And then this one time it's like similar messages. And she sent it to me and I was like, oh, well, clearly we know our topic for Thursday because...
Obviously, we're both feeling the same things lately anyway, so.
Yeah. And if we get the same message, clearly the collective needs it too. So.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yes. And I feel like what's happening that sort of triggered was that there's been these resets and these evolutions. So if we actually have hit this reset after many of the light workers, the healers, the starseeds, the people on the mission to help the collective, I feel like we went through this grungy time of like purging our bullshit and purging our heaviness.
Yeah.
Because right away, it's going to be the collective's turn.
Yeah.
And the rest of us got to be ready, which we kind of talked about in an earlier podcast. So it's like, you got to just step into that like fullness and stop giving a fuck about what people think.
Totally. End of podcast. Thanks. Mic drop. See you later. Just kidding. Oh my God. But it's so true though. And I mean, I think if we paid attention, because that's a problem. Nobody pays attention these days. I feel like everyone's kind of like, it feels like The Walking Dead out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
100%.
Everyone's just kind of like putting one foot in front of the other and just trying to, you know, like just whatever. But if you're not paying attention, you don't realize just how easy it is and how often in a day you do make yourself smaller to fit in. I really notice it having to talk with like the normies.
The normies.
Yeah. I know, but I mean, I don't know, like the non spiritual, like not spiritual, but you know what I mean? They're just not that level.
Yeah.
And I have to dim my conversations like down a lot in order to just talk. And I feel very awkward sometimes having normal chit chat because I feel like I'm almost false, but it's because I'm trying so hard to talk normal.
I know.
That sounds so bad, and it makes me sad. Like I'm not meaning that in any sort of derogatory or I'm better than anyone or anything. It's just I'm having trouble communicating on lower levels.
Oh yeah. Like I think I used this example in an earlier podcast. It's not that anyone's better or worse, but like you're resonating, vibrating, speaking fucking English. And then the people you're trying to talk to are speaking Spanish or Chinese. It doesn't matter what language is, but it's not the same as yours. And it's like, then you have to like, I don't know. I feel like it's like I have to muddle through a language I'm not really familiar with. And everyone's like, what the fuck? Who are you? It doesn't even make sense. I'm trying to speak Spanish. I don't really know Spanish anymore. So it's like, you just fuck it up when everyone's like, what's wrong with you?
Or you talk really slow and people think you're having a stroke or you're sick or something. Because I swear to God, I'll start to say something and I stop. And then I continue because I have to literally think what's a normal word? Like I forget words.
Oh man. I used to be so well spoken.
Me too. And like well read and like
my
vocabulary words, I was like, oh yeah, you mean this word.
Yeah.
Nope.
I can't remember a freaking word to save my life anymore. And like my partner has noticed and he's like, yeah, don't worry. I know you speak Akashic records now. Like you don't know English anymore. And I'm like, fuck, I have to be proud of that shit.
And now I'm like, Christ, Mercury retrograde is happening in like a day or two. And I was like, it's hard enough communicating. Like, oh my God.
I know. Actually, I'm hoping that it gives me life because yeah, we talked about this last time. I was born during Mercury retrograde. So like I want to see what happens when it goes, because I haven't really paid attention. That was like new information. So it's coming up. I'm gonna study what happens, see if I like come to life or something.
Yeah. I don't really notice technology fucking up very often because technology always fucks up for me.
Totally.
So it'll be okay. That part I'm sure is gonna be fine. What is with the weird blips? Like I don't know if it's just me, but it's almost like the last few months, like lights will just flicker.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like my phone will just turn off for a second.
Yeah.
Or like I'll be listening to something and then it'll get quiet for a second. And I'm just like, what?
Did you actually, you know what's weird? Did you notice like on the Awakened group that we have that I posted about that?
Oh, did you?
That's so weird that you brought it up. I actually put it on there this morning. Yesterday, my fucking power glitched out just enough to shut down my internet, and I was in the middle of 2 Zoom calls, two appointments.
Fuck.
So I was like, oh, shit. It came back really quickly, and everyone was still waiting there on the other end, so that was awesome. But I was like, that's weird, because I've heard some, like, chatter in the background that we're getting a bunch of solar flashes again.
Oh.
And it's gonna, and like last time they warned us about the solar flashes, I was ready for a power outage. I was like, it's coming, I'm prepared. And it never happened. And I'm like, oh shit, here we go.
This is the time.
I posted it. And on that group, there's people from New Brunswick and Alberta and BC. And multiple people from various locations said that they had issues with their power lately too.
Weird.
Right?
What are the odds?
I know. So I was like, okay, we're getting those solar flashes. So if you're not familiar, the solar flashes are like healing energies coming from the sun to assist with the awakening process because it's pushing the vibrations up.
Yeah.
So we're not normally used to sustaining that level of like high vibrational, high frequency energy. So like it's kind of fucking with our power grids.
Yeah.
And it might like really fuck with the power grids. And I'm excited. This is amazing news. Everyone should be happy. But for the love of God, get a little bit extra food on hand that you don't need to cook or barbecue, get your propane filled up. Because there's a chance it's supposed to happen. There's supposed to be power outages.
Interesting.
So
at
least
least
your propane
for
filled
the
up.
love of God, let it happen in the summer, not the winter when we were like gonna die.
I know. And that's when it was supposed to be, in the middle of winter. And I was like, shit.
Although I did notice back in December when that conjunction was happening, I lost power in my room twice.
Weird.
In my room at work. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the internet gets all straight fuckery, phones and computers. So like if you've noticed, let us know. I'm curious.
Yeah.
And then let us know where you're from, because it's very like, so send us a message, an email, comment. I'm curious. I'm doing recon right now. I want to know.
I want to know too. Like, where the fuck?
Yeah. So that's going to, I don't think, I actually personally don't feel that the power is actually going to go out for a significant period of time, but I feel like it's going to be like janky like that.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be like unstable.
Yeah. That's a better word.
Kinda like
speaking of janky. Yeah.
Janky. What a great word. I never use that word and I love it.
Yeah. That's just pulled that out of nowhere. Something I've ever even said before.
Nice. You know what else people say? And I it entertains me, but I've never used it, is ratchet.
Yes.
That's so ratchet. And I'm like, that word. What?
Ratchet is the best word ever.
Ratchet.
I do love it.
Yeah. Merch coming soon. Just kidding.
We need to write these ideas down. We have all these great ideas for merch, and we need to just like normies for sure.
Normies for sup bitches. Of course.
Yeah.
Also hit us up. Would you guys wear merch? I know I would.
Yeah.
It's like all I'd wear.
I would definitely. I have so many ideas because I'm so like so I'm a huge music fan. If you can follow me, know. So fucking these stupid shitty bands always bring t-shirts and they're just like shitty men's t-shirts. And like I'm always like, I want to like rep that and like wear that, but I hate everything about it. It's not flattering. We both have a chest, like we've got tits, and they don't look good in men's shirts. Okay, so anyway, I'm very passionate about fucking putting some nice clothing on there, like properly oversized t-shirts, or like nice like croppy shirts that are in right now.
No croppies for me, but thanks.
But like nice clothing that people actually want to wear.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that stupid men's
You know what I love?
bullshit.
I love a nice fucking zip up hoodie.
Yes.
Bunny hug here in Saskatchewan.
Oh yeah. I also love the pullovers or like crew necks.
Yes, with the long
necks.
sleeves
Yes.
and the yes. You can't fucking find those to save your life.
No. Let us know what kind of merch you would wear.
Yeah. Underwear? Just kidding.
Oh, yeah, let us know. Let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, I love how we're talking about anything but our fucking topic.
I like don't even know. Like I'm just like literally drawing a blank. I'm like, I don't know.
No, it's all good.
Oh, that's so funny.
We were talking about how often in a day we do that.
Oh yeah, fuck.
And then we got distracted by electricity. But it's true though. It's true. In like the subtlest ways.
I literally do it every day, all day. If you actually want me to like assess the times that I do that, it's insane. Like I remember just coaching myself through something this morning. I was like, I woke up with so much gratitude and like, that's not normal for me. And like, I know it should be. I know it fucking should be.
The look on your face, you're like, that's not normal for me.
It's not normal.
Looks disgusted.
Speaking of this body and emotional release program, one of the things that like hit me real hard is like, I don't have necessarily like victimization energy, but I've got a lot of self-pity. Which is like victimization's best friend. Yeah. So
kind of the same.
Yeah.
Like, they're like fraternal twins.
Yeah. Except for I think the difference to me would be like victimization is like you're kind of looking for other people to feel sorry for you, and sympathy is just you sitting in your own manure crying. You don't care what anyone else sees, but you're like, fuck, this sucks. Like
my poor life.
Yeah. 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 So I worked really hard on that, but then it's like also I can see so fucking many of my past lives. They just come in like in a Rolodex. Even off-planet lives. I can see those really clearly. Nice. So it's like if there was a physical, if it was like a transcendent experience where you didn't have a body, I can't see that, but I can see the physical ones. So anyways, I can see that the grass was once greener on the other side. And sometimes it irritates me because I can even remember some of those feelings. So then I'm like, God, it's heavy here. We feel so disconnected. I'm like, oh, like you have to work really hard for things. And like, you know, and it's just like, oh, like it just feels heavy. So when I feel grateful, it's like,
mark it on the fucking calendar.
Yeah. So I like even texted Randy. I texted like everyone I love this morning. And I was like, I love you guys so much. I'm so happy in my life. And then there's a point to this. We're just a convoluted way of getting to this. So then I was like, oh, like I should text my partner. I was like, I should message him. Like, I was like, you know, I should tell him I'm grateful for him too. And then I was like, oh, like he doesn't like when I text him at work, like because I sent like spam texts, and he's just like, fuck, just text me one time. And then I was like, I don't even know what I'd say. And I was like, are you seriously like just like mapping this out? Like just fucking say what you want to say.
Exactly.
Like you have to like, oh, you know, don't text him at this time, and oh, you should say this. And he doesn't do anything to make me feel like I should be walking on eggshells. I do that. Yeah. And I'm like, why can you just not say it? Like, I was like, fuck, that's annoying. And like, that's somebody that I shouldn't have to dim my light for, but I willingly do it anyway. And they don't ask for that. Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck? Like,
I feel you. I feel I do that too. It's like in the morning and there's like certain things I want to do. And I'm like, oh no, because I don't want the dogs to bark, or, you know, like, oh, I would hate for something to happen that would disrupt somebody else. And it's like, it's not my fault they don't get up when I get up. You know? Exactly. So, I use it partially as an excuse. Like, let's be honest. I mean, it's true. Like, I can't work out in the morning if Keith's sleeping. Like, what if the dogs barked? I guess I'll wait.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I know. I feel you.
But my big thing, I think my problem is or my biggest problem is I have a really hard time accepting compliments, and I have a really hard time tooting my own horn.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm like, I should toot my own horn. I fucking should do that. You know?
Should.
I should. I'm like, I'm fucking good at this. Why is it so hard for me to say I'm fucking good at this? Instead, I push somebody else to the spotlight and I'm like, oh no, you got to try so-and-so. Or, oh, have you done this? Or, oh, but you're so good at this. You know, it's like I deflect. Because it's like, don't look at me. Don't see my light. Oh my God. Don't do that.
Totally.
So it's, I don't know why.
Yeah, where does that shit come from?
I don't know. This fear to be seen. I don't. Yeah. It's weird.
It is. It's like, it's different. It's so interesting because it's like, it makes sense, but it's like a different worldview. It's not that I love being seen, but it's not something that keeps me up at night. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I want to know. Let's get to the bottom of this.
Right?
When I think of the fear of being seen or dimming your light or you're not for everyone, when I think about it in my life, it immediately takes me down this like string of history, right? Like my maternal line. And it's the same for all of us, men or women, but you have these inherited weaknesses from the traditional roles everybody had to hold. So like clearly Randy and I both are not what traditional women would have been in the past.
What? How dare you?
And like
Obviously.
and like I had one grandma that was sassy. Oh, she was the shit. But anyway, she still did the traditional things, but she was just fucking sassy about it. So my mom and even my grandma and all these people did all these traditional things and like muted their light to hold these small meek roles and take care of all the men in the household and blah, blah, blah. So like when you start defying that, if you're one of the first people in your lineage, you're like a demon to everyone. That's literally kind of how my family perceives me. My nickname growing up was Hulk.
What?
Because I would like get so fucking mad.
Really?
Yeah, and like because people expected me, because I was the oldest daughter, to do all these things, and I would just spaz. Like I would get so mad, and my nickname notoriously from like I was young. This was when Spider-Man was first coming out. What was it, like 2009? I was like 9 years old. Till like
kids, 15. Spider-Man. Yes, Spider-Man is way older than that, but we're talking about the movies.
Yeah, the movies. So anyway, that was my nickname. And then it's just like they don't call me that anymore, but that like impression has stuck. So I feel like I have to walk around on eggshells and be
I'm going to call you Hulk from now on. Like, how could I not
do it? It's like I am kind of ragey, but like,
love it.
I've definitely internalized that, like thinking that in certain social scenarios or settings that I have to dim down just a little bit, or people are going to think you're too much.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah,
totally.
Too much or too weird or too different. And it's like, sometimes you're like, well, I do kind of want to have friends and like the ability to go out in public, but we're crossing into a new threshold of weird. Like leaving the house now is like really hard work.
I agree.
Like, what the fuck's everyone doing out here? Everyone's so weird.
I don't know. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to lie. When COVID started and like nobody was out, oh my God, it was the best part of my life.
Yeah. No.
I was like, yes, there's hardly anybody in the stores because I hate crowds. I can't handle them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get really fucking just angry. This is why I don't do a lot of like crowd things like concerts, or even shopping at Christmas is too much for me. And I just like, I lose my shit. It's too hard.
Right.
Like I just can't do it. And now I forget where I was going with this because I got all distracted by feeling like, oh my God, crowds.
Going out in public and like.
Oh yeah, no, it was wonderful in COVID because there was hardly anybody there. Now I'm annoyed with it, but you know, it was really nice for a while.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I know that, what's that saying? Like the higher your vibe, the smaller your tribe.
Yeah.
Like that is such a real thing. And it's like, I do want to be social, but I do feel like I'm speaking a different language, or like, you don't even want to talk about your life. You're like, whatever. I'm sick of talking about work anyway. Let's just talk about whatever. But then it's like, now I'm listening to other people's conversation and I'm like, what the fuck?
Right?
I don't even know how to integrate. They're like, oh yeah, so-and-so at this building and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know why we're talking about them.
Yeah, it's like, why are we talking about people who aren't here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has no bearing on your life. You know what I don't understand anymore? And I used to be so bad for it. I'm going to call myself out. I used to be so bad for gossip.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't even with that anymore.
It's crazy to see the evolution. Like, I'm not saying this is a new thing. Like, I've never, the issue with me is I don't remember people, especially from like high school and stuff. Like, I feel like when you're talking about crowds, everyone kind of feels like a hologram to me. Like, I don't really pay attention. I'm like, really, like, I love this band, or like, I'm just getting fucking eggs from the grocery store or whatever I'm getting. I don't eat eggs, but something else that I would eat.
I get road rage in the grocery store, like with people like, get the fuck out of my way. Like, like, it's bad. I get bad. And it doesn't even have to be that crowded, let's be honest. Like, I have a really hard time.
Yeah. I don't notice people. And Graham, my partner, gives me shit about this all the time. He's like, you didn't just see that? I'm like, I didn't see anything. Because I'm just minding my own business. But it's a willing thing.
Yes.
Like, I just don't care to tune into that shit.
Amen.
But like, so I used to be like, I never was into gossip because I didn't remember anyone. I didn't know who the fuck anyone was talking about. I didn't bother to like take names. So I wasn't really that big into gossip. But like, this is new that I don't know how to hold a conversation with like a normie or in like a normal setting or like a normal setting.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what to talk about.
Oh my God, you're so funny. Like, you want gossip, you go work at a fucking police station. Honestly, it's insane.
Actually, I could see that. I worked at the fire department in Colorado for like just a few months as an internship.
You know who's sleeping with who, and who's like, oh my God, did you hear about so and so? Or like, somebody it could have been like nothing bad. It could have been like, so and so got a new truck, and it's like, wow.
And like,
why do I know this?
Let's be honest. Well, I was in America, which like, no offense. Yeah.
Pew pew pew.
No offense to my American pals here, but like,
we love you, America.
Yeah, seriously, that was the best time of my life, by the way. So there's just a new level of drama in there, or it's like, or maybe it's just louder or something. Because I know shit happens here, so I don't know if this is standard practice. You can let me know because you were in Canada. But like, why is everyone sleeping with everyone? Yeah, in like this kind of world. And it's like, I don't know. I'm fucking sure you guys are married.
Yeah,
guys and gals.
You know what I think it is? It's a very, unless you're in it, even like spouses, you don't understand the world of emergency services unless you're doing it.
Totally.
And even I grew up in it, right? Like, I went to the police station growing up. My dad was a police officer for 25 years. Like, I was in it, but still you're not in it.
Totally.
So there is a certain level of bonding that happens.
Right.
And even if it's people that you don't like that you don't get along with, still, it's like they're your family because you actually see them more than your own family.
Right.
And there's just connections made, I think, just with a level of understanding that you don't get anywhere else.
Right. That makes sense. And then I feel the perception that I made when I was in Colorado, I was like, it's very, like, it's group, right? You work with partners, you work on a team, you really connected to other people on the force or in the, the department. So then there's like this added pressure. Like, it's like, okay, well, so-and-so got married. It's like, there's like this in America anyway. I don't know if it's the same here, but like, there's this pressure, like, these are the things you do. You're a firefighter now and you make sure you get married and you have a nice little family and you bring everyone to the barbecue. But it's like the pressure's on to like pick a good wife to like have kids with or pick a good husband.
That looks good.
Yes. Very like attraction based. And then
we called them badge bunnies.
Oh my God.
That's so, and then, you know what, that's horrible of us. And now that I'm out of it, I'm like, oh my God, I feel bad for ever saying that, because props to anyone who is a spouse of an emergency services worker.
Oh, for real.
Because I've seen it both sides. I've been the family of an emergency services worker. I've seen the spouse end and I've seen the other end.
Oh, totally.
So like, props to these women and men. Like, But I think their eyes get opened very, very quickly.
Yes, totally. And I was going to say, like, people get married, you know, because there's like pressure to do that when you're in sort of a group setting like that. And then it's like, oh, maybe I got married just a little bit too young and I picked someone who maybe wasn't where I was at. And then it's like, because the people I was working with, like, fuck, they were young.
Yeah.
And I was like, how are you guys married with all these kids already? And I was like, how do you even know what you want at this time in your life? And then it's like, yeah, I could see how it would happen.
Yeah. And you grow up pretty quick doing that.
Oh, yeah, I can't imagine. What the fuck was the point of this? Gossip?
Gossip! Like, how did we get to this? And I'm like, oh my God.
Here we are gossiping.
And we're like, not that we're condoning adultery, you guys. We're not. But it does happen. But I'm not going to judge somebody for it. Whereas before I used to.
Yeah. If, to be frankly honest with you, I think the stupid thing is actually marriage.
Okay. You and you're like, marriage is stupid. Yeah, I was never going to get married either.
It's not even that.
And here I am 11 years later.
It's the weird conditioning that comes with it kind of thing. Like,
yes, but that's only there if you put it there.
That's true. I feel like I wouldn't want to, but my partner's a little bit old school. I'm like, how do I decondition him from it? Like, I still think he thinks I'm going to change my last name if and when we ever get married.
Well,
like,
oh my God, I feel like we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Or was it on our Patreon one?
I don't remember.
It might have been our Patreon bonus episode where we're like, you just got to actually talk that shit out and like actually have a conversation.
I know, we're not good at this. Randy calls me out all the time. If you just say what you want, oh no, I don't know how.
Couples counseling
because
by Randy.
I've been dimming my light because I've been conditioned, or like, let's be fucking honest. Women have been, no, everyone, I'm not just going to say women, but women particularly, in my life anyway, have been fucking conditioned that it's like, yeah, no, you take their name because their pride matters more than you keeping your fucking name. And I'm sorry, but that's when you were sold to somebody in the past. Like, I'm just like, ooh, and I like my name. And it's just like, that's you dimming your light. That's you making yourself small. That's you complying. And it's even sometimes just to keep the peace. I just don't want to have that argument, so I will just do it.
I do that all the time.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
And it's like, why are we so afraid of our power? And like, I would love to sit here and tell you guys the secrets, but clearly Randy and I still openly struggle with this.
Here's the problem though. Like, because there is devil's advocate here.
Yeah, throw it at me.
Especially when it comes to relationships. It would be very easy for us to just, oh, I'm dimming my light to do this. But at the same time, you know what? There is compromise. Mm-hmm. But what do you compromise on?
And it should never be.
That's where the line is.
It should never be a core value.
No.
It should be something that you don't have a particular opinion either way.
Or it's like, you know what, this isn't going to make or break us if we do it this way. Exactly. Where it's like, if it's something that is just like my husband and I argue over certain issues. You
guys have conversations.
Well, you could too. You just don't.
I used to be a good conversationalist, and then I met somebody who prefers the company of animals, and like that sounded like terrible, but like, we've seen his past lives, and he's always hated humanity, and he prefers to have like his little sheep and his little donkey and like live in his little funny farm. So guy didn't have to argue with his donkey about anything. He loved that fucking animal. Like, that was his best friend, ride or die, all of his little animals, and he's still like that. He has a weird connection with animals. They just like love him, and he loves them back.
Well, now you're his new ass.
Fucking for real though.
Nice ass.
I would totally agree with you.
There's our new merch. Nice ass. Just kidding.
Oh, totally. And like, so I can like approach the situation, but it's just like system shut down. And I've tried a multitude of different ways. I've tried just like, this is my normal way. I'll just come at him like I'm a firecracker. I'll just come at him with like flames and be like, this isn't working. That didn't work. I would bet it would not. Not the way. That is not the way. And then I was like, I'm just going to like drop it like really peacefully. And then he thought I didn't really matter that much because there was like no emphasis. And then now I write letters. And one time he responded, but now they just go unanswered. I'm like, for fuck's sakes.
Maybe he's just processing.
Yeah, but it'd be nice to hear what's going on over there sometimes. So it's like, again, dimming your light though. Like, even just me rationalizing right now, I'm like, oh man, like, what's the point? And then it's like, nah, there's a point. Like, you got to get your word out there. Like, you know what I mean?
You still have to express yourself and your concerns.
Oh my God. And you know what? When I do write him letters, he might not write back, but he usually shapes up.
Well, yeah.
He makes the changes.
Right? Like he absorbs the information.
Yeah. So that's probably the best process. But anyway, it's just like, you know, and yeah, like there is compromise with relationships. We can't just go around like
dictating.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back, because you know what? I have met legitimate people whose gift or energy is like power. So those people literally should never compromise. And it says that in the Akashic records. It says they should be single or in the dominating part of the relationship where people bend to them.
Yeah.
Which, so I don't know, depending on who you are, like, I don't want to say that there is compromise. There's like responsibility sometimes where you're like, I don't even know what my belief is, because I've also read, and we talked about this last week, that expectation is what kills relationships. So like, I expect you to support me in this because you're my partner. I expect you to meet me in the middle. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we should just take care of ourselves.
This is why conversation is so important in communication.
Yeah.
And okay, so here's something I do with my clients. Oh my God, this is taking such a fucking weird turn.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
Oh my God. But everybody has their needs and their unmet needs. Okay? Everyone has them. But what are your deal breakers?
Right.
What unmet needs absolutely have to be met? Because if that's not happening, you're in the wrong place.
Totally.
Okay?
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't matter if it's with somebody else, if it's with a job, if it's with this, if it's with that. It doesn't matter. If you have a fundamental need to your core that is absolutely valued, like it's like, I need this in my life, and it's not being filled, you either have to speak up and find a way to fill it or find something else.
Yeah.
In my experience. Now that's, again, hard and fast rule, right? But
yeah, fuck, I don't even know what my belief is on that. Like, I think that's correct. But it's like, there's this interesting, like, fine line that I see too. So this is something that is come out of the Akashic records, and we're somehow talking about relationships.
I know.
But it applies to everything, right?
It does.
It's your parents, it's your partner, it's your children, it's your friends, it's everybody.
Coworkers, the whole bit.
So I feel we are in a human experience to process the illusion of separation, that we're separate. And I think part of the lesson there is that you can still like fill up your own cup and like find your own happiness your own way. But we're also social creatures. But anyway, so I believe,
some of us.
Yeah, no doubt. I believe like that we're supposed to be our own soulmate and be our own best friend and just like do what makes us happy, even if you're doing it by yourself. Like, don't compromise on those things that like bring you joy or happiness or like fill you up and like make you feel happy or good. But then there's like this fine line too, where it's like you can't completely shut yourself off from friends and family and partners, because then it starts to turn into isolation and disconnection and you end up really alone. And one of the ways that the Akashic record says you should work on your heart chakra is to just tell people how the fuck they can support you. They don't need to do anything for you, but they need to support you. How can they support you?
People are not mind readers. Again, with the expectation.
Yeah.
Fuck expectation. That was totally what we talked about last week. But
yes. And then the other one is like, don't carry the weight of the world on your fucking shoulders, because no one's going to come in and rescue you. If you're making the kids' lunches, if you're vacuuming, if you're taking care of the house, you're doing drop-offs and pickups and grocery shopping and whatever, like, you're going to drown. And that's you dimming your light to accommodate literally everyone but you.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it.
No. And here's the thing, you guys. Now we're getting into the other part of the scenario. The you are not for everyone. We have been raised or conditioned, not just by our parents or friends but like society as a whole, that we have to fit in, that we have to be everybody's cup of tea.
True.
You know, so in this group, I got to be like this. So, you know, like I'm going to be super like, flirty and like, oh my God. And then when I'm with this group of people, I'm going to be very professional and very, you know, blah, blah, blah. And with this group, they really like, I don't know, movies. So that's all I'm going to talk about. You know what I mean? Like, there's just, that's not realistic. Not everyone is going to like you.
Oh, when you say that, it just makes me cringe of like the couple of clients. Like there is like, I would say 3 max that come to mind that I could tell they were just like, I was just not their cup of tea. It wasn't the kind of reading that they wanted. And they were just like, ugh. And like, that was like, at the time, it was early in my career, right? So I was just like, so butthurt about it.
Butthurt?
Like totally so hurt about it. And then I was kind of like, as I processed it, I'm like, why do you care what these people think anyway? Like, what, like, I was reading their soul legitimately. And I was like, kind of like, you know, like I wasn't like, I would never hang out with you anyway. So I was like, why the fuck do you care what people that you don't even like resonate with at all think about you?
Exactly. Why?
And it's like 3 out of, I don't know, like couple, like I don't even know how many people I've worked with. Probably like close to like 1,500 now.
I was gonna say probably over 1,000.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah. And it's like, why do you care what people think? And that's like, honestly, sometimes the biggest healing is just asking yourself, like, why do I feel this way? Do I actually care? And it's like, no, you're just absorbing the conditioning that you've inherited.
Or it's like, yeah, I really do care, but why? And how do I change that?
Exactly.
Do you know how many times? So I used to go, I would do stuff by myself all the time. Like if I wanted to go do something, like when I lived in Red Deer, I didn't have a whole lot of friends. I had like one friend, but she was taking nursing school. So she was busy, like never fucking saw her. And we had a cheap theater and there would be movies that I wanted to go see. And I would go by myself all the time. Like I would take myself to the movies. It was like, I looked forward to it. Or I would take myself out for a meal or whatever. And I got called. I'd get asked, what's wrong with you? You're a loser.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I feel like people go to the movies like by themselves. Like that's not that uncommon. Probably around here and smaller communities. Yeah.
In the early 2000s. Oh yeah.
Oh God.
I didn't have a boyfriend in high school. It was like, what's wrong with you? Why doesn't anybody like you? And then I would do stuff by myself. So that like perpetuated that nobody, you know, and I was like,
that's true.
I just didn't need it.
Yeah. It's interesting to figure out what things do offend you and what things don't.
But my question is, okay, when was the last time you did something like that by yourself? Went for coffee. You know what? Or not even coffee. Took yourself out and ate alone.
Yeah, actually did that a couple weeks ago. So
no, I know, but I mean,
that shit is my favorite. Have you ever even tried it? Because it's like the fucking best.
Oh my God. It's like, I love it. I love it.
And these are the kinds of things that makes me wonder, like, why do we partner up? Like, I like vastly prefer my own company sometimes. I'm like, oh, I have to entertain this person. I'm like, oh, I have to listen to their conversation.
No, but
like,
you don't, though. You don't have
Exactly. And you know what's funny? The more I talk about this, I'm like, oh, yeah. I remember once being told, they're like, yeah, like, you feel really, like, uncomfortable participating in, like, institutionalized things. And they're like, but you shouldn't just, like, secretly, like, find, like, they're like, you're probably going to create, like, a secret rebellion in your life. And they're like, you should make, like, a louder rebellion. So here I am. Just don't do it. Don't do anything you don't want to.
No. Especially because you think you're expected to. Or that's what people do. I was in a career that sucked my soul for 13 years because that's what you do.
Totally. And like honesty and like being authentic is like the best policy. And if you've never done it, you'll never know it's the best policy, because that was me, like dim, people please. And it wasn't because I don't feel like I would consider myself a people pleaser, but I definitely, Randy just found a tick. So it's like very,
oh my God, it was in my hair. Ah!
We're so distracted.
So sorry.
No.
Continue.
Oh my God.
I'm squishing it with a pen. It's okay.
I actually found one yesterday.
Oh my God.
So gross.
So gross.
No, I'm just like itchy.
Sorry.
No, this is serious business around here.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't consider myself like a people pleaser per se, but I didn't like negative attention. So I would just either do nothing or like just do it silently. And I don't know, it's like just expecting to do all these things for all these other people. And then I wasn't authentic ever. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it, even though I didn't want to. Oh, yeah, no problem. I got this. And then it was just like exhausting.
Yeah.
And then lately I've been trying really hard to just be more honest to avoid shit like that.
Yeah.
And it works out. People usually are feeling the same way that you do on the other end. So here's an example. So I'm looking for kind of like an office space, but it's just to like have coworkers or so Michelle, if you're listening, what's up? I'm looking for an office space, and it's just to have a space to like leave my house, especially when winter rolls around again, because it's dark and dreary and cold, and like I need to get out of the house or I'm going to hit a depression.
Amen.
So I was like looking for an office space. Me and a friend of mine, she's also a practitioner, and she's like, I'm looking for a space too, and let's look around. So we were looking around, and just like fucking nothing was coming through. And then I was kind of like, you know what? I don't like need a space. And I was like, maybe it's just like not the right time for me to be looking for one. And I was like, I was kind of like, oh, I'm just going to tell her the truth. And like, I was like, maybe she'll feel like and I was like, if we find a place, awesome. But like, I'm not like dying to cram ourselves in a place that's not correct. Yeah. I was like, you know what? I don't need one. And like, kind of like, I'm not in a rush. Like if you see something else, like don't like worry about me. And then meanwhile, I realized she kind of has her eye on something, but it's so small that I wouldn't have like really been able to be there anyway. And it's like the honesty that I put out in that moment was like welcomely met.
Yeah.
Because she already had this other idea.
Perfect.
And it was like, that was something that I would have like normally been like, oh, you know, I'm just going to get a shitty place. I'm going to pay way too much to accommodate this other person without ever like just being bold honest and saying the truth. So it's like dimming your light does go fucking hand in hand with honesty.
Oh, yeah.
Just be yourself. The right people will be there and they'll understand you for real.
And if they don't, they aren't your people. And you're better off for it.
And it's like, what a simple lesson that I know. Like, I know everyone on the other end has heard that before and knows it and gets it, but are you really embodying it? Because I know you're not.
No.
I fucking know you're not.
It took me almost 40 years to get that lesson. Now I get it. You know.
I get it, but am I walking it all the time, all the day, every day?
Well, no, but let's remember humanism, right?
Yeah. Never be perfect. No such thing exists.
No. But it doesn't mean you can't course correct.
Exactly. So, moral of the story, it's like trial and error, right? Like, it's not like you can just suddenly turn on a switch and be like, I'm always just going to be in my power and saying what I need to be and not dimming my light. But like, I would encourage you to just experiment with it, because authenticity is a part of alignment, not dimming your light, being the fullest power that you are. Like, it's where the magic happens. We always talk about alignment is where manifestation happens. So I encourage you to just take little baby steps, experiment, see what happens when you just like own it.
And knowing that sometimes not dimming your light is not saying anything.
Totally.
Silence is power sometimes, people.
Oh, 100%.
Silence is power.
Yeah, it really can be.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah. Anyways, you guys, we've been chatting your fucking ears off. And this seems like such a convoluted, long, round the bend, odd way of getting there. But I feel like we hit on some topics.
Yeah. And sometimes I've noticed that the ones that we just we don't even know what just happened is like the ones people love the most. We've heard that a few times. I don't know if you're one of those people, but for the ones that are those people, you're welcome.
You are welcome.
Oh yeah, we made it. We did it. We got something.
It. We got it out. We got it out. I think so. I hope so.
Oh yeah.
You guys have been actually. You know what? You guys have really been loving the more conversational, just shoot the shit type. I don't know. What do you call this method?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like conversational banter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I got lots of comments last time that they were like, I felt like I was there with you just laughing. It was awesome. And I was like, oh, that's what I'm talking about.
And see, that's what we're trying to get across here. Because we're all friends. We're all in it together.
Oh, God, yeah. And it would have been hella nice if at the time I was like going through it and like felt all like isolated and like no one knew what I was doing, if I would have
had this. Amen.
And like, granted, I didn't look for it. I didn't know about like podcasts at that time. I wasn't really focused on it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. All right, kiddos. We'll wrap it here. Let us know. Again, remember, send us stuff, right? Send us your stories. Send us your comments, your opinions. What do you want us to talk about? What was your awakening story? Like, we want to know all that shit because we do.
Yeah, we do.
And if you really want to have a lot of fun, join us on Patreon.
Yes.
We totally did a full moon manifestation ritual last night with the full moon. It was fucking awesome.
With the group, it was awesome.
Yeah, we all did it together. And it was like totally high vibe. Like, I feel like shit happened.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Totally. I agree with that.
I think that's part of the reason why I woke up so like, zing!
Yeah, actually, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought about that. I was going to say that to you, but then I forgot. And I was like, yeah, I feel like my manifestation worked because I feel like way lighter today, which is actually what I was asking for.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That was part of what I asked for too.
Nice.
All right, kidlets. I know I've said that about 16 times. It's like a Saskatchewan goodbye.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's like you say you're going to go say goodbye, you talk for 5 minutes. You go to the door, say goodbye, talk for about 10 minutes more. You walk out to the car, say goodbye, talk for another 5 to 10 minutes, and then you go.
That's so true.
Like, is that just Saskatchewan or is that just like small town everywhere? Let us know. Okay, but for real though, we'll let you go because we've talked your ear off and I'm sure like you're just like, okay, shut up already. It's all good. Okay, well, signing off until next week. Bye.
Bye.